I was just letting people know that today is just office hours. So if people have questions or things they want to talk about, that's great. Otherwise, you don't need to hang around. I'm just going to be around.
Can it include the
as
new
people have
Doctor Strange
questions.
movie or not?
No.
Okay.
No
Did you?
spoilers.
Actually,
One
I
question.
do have a topic. Stephen, go ahead, but
Oh,
I'd like to talk about the output stuff.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I saw, and I don't know if you replied to this or not, Brian, but you made a comment on the operator review, Carolyn, about genericizing some of the things using just basic object, because we've got a lot of the same helper functions that are repeated between the controllers. Do you want us to tackle that with this next PR, getting the parameter set CRD in, or do we want to just kind of? Okay.
Absolutely not for this PR. Like, we just like to get the functionality in, but like, keep an eye out for it. And if you think, as you work on it, we can avoid adding another set of all those helper functions. That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, and we actually took a first pass at that when we were doing the credential set stuff, and kind of got bogged down in doing a rewrite. And it's like, you know what, this isn't really furthering a whole lot forward. Let's just kind of repeat ourselves. And that once we have a better understanding of the the code base, it'd be easier to come back and do a consolidation.
Absolutely. So. And I'd always rather start with like tests that we know are working well, and then just have a PR that just refactors and the test still pass. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh yeah. Just sorry, I'm messing around with my computer here. Yeah, it's just kind of starting to think out loud a little bit, because like from our perspective, it's we got initial credential set stuff. We're going to do parameter sets, and then we're looking at getting outputs from an installation, and that really allows us to take the POC project we've been working on and greatly simplify it, because everything we did was kind of workarounds for some of those kind of needs.
Yeah.
And like, just thinking out loud, I was like, what? Because there's all kinds of issues around like who should see outputs and that sort of thing. But we could start out with like a feature flag where in your installation resource, there's like a annotation or attribute or something like that says, hey, create an output resource with the outputs, like a true false kind of thing. And then have a totally separate CRD for installation outputs. And then in the event, then we can just, reconcile watch for that installation to succeed. And if we do, we can run that agent action, grab the outputs, and then put it into a totally separate resource. And that way we have like RBAC control kind of over it and things of that nature. And we could even just have it be off by default for installations and just be kind of an opt-in kind of pattern.
I'm thinking about it. You had mentioned doing it as an annotation. I think that makes a lot of sense, because it isn't really something what we'd want to trigger another run for if you toggled it on. Yeah.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. So if if we need to discuss more, we can, but if not, we can start kind of thinking down that route with it and just start putting together some code there to show that off.
Yeah, let me just write down what you were saying, so that if anyone wants to catch up. So we want to add an annotation to the installation CRD. It indicates that the operator should scrape the outputs and put them into a new installation output CRD. Yeah, makes total sense. I think you can just if you want to start on it. Otherwise, before you even start on it though, let's add an issue or maybe just comment on one of the existing ones and just kind of like lay out how we want it to work.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and I think it'll be like that installation output will be writing to secrets and just references to secrets, that sort of thing. So.
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds good. Real quick though, when you said they would reference secrets, do you mean the installation output would actually store the sensitive value in Kubernetes secrets?
Oh, actually, wait. yeah, that's what I was thinking off the top of my head just then. But it's really, yeah, I mean, would the secrets be in clear text in the installation resource, or
No, yeah,
basic,
yeah.
how are the secrets stored in that scenario in your mind?
Well, so I wasn't thinking of using secrets because secrets have hard limits on size. And bundles can create outputs of any size.
Yeah.
So I was thinking you could just put the output on a field or something in that installation output CRD. And then that's another way too to limit with RBAC who has access to see those.
Yeah.
Secrets is a big bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes it easier for an initial implementation as well. So
yeah. And because outputs can be they don't have to be ASCII or anything like that. You probably are going to want to, be a little more creative on how you store stuff. Kind of like how secrets has like string data and binary data. Like we probably need something similar to that because not everything that's output is going to be representable.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I can kind of think of.
Kind of along those same lines, what are your thoughts about RBAC in the operator? Because, if we have a long-lived running instance with, if somebody has access to play around with it, you could have multiple installations that you may not want other people to be able to see. Maybe you want to slice out, like you can only see this section. Is that something that would fall under the space of the operator to kind of set up RBAC to its resources, or should the person running the cluster handle more in-depth RBAC for those?
I would kind of lean first towards, would it work if we just said you have access to what's in this namespace and use the operator to do installations, like have some installation CRDs, maybe for my team is in, the Carolyn namespace. And then you have maybe like US West namespace. I probably wouldn't have access to that. That's prod, So these installation outputs, for example, you then can restrict the RBAC based off of namespace so that, I have access to the outputs in my dev namespace, but not the outputs that are generated in prod. Or are you thinking you need something at a different level?
No, that might, I'm just trying to think because I'm thinking about our marketplace option where, like you could have, 5,000 employees that might have their own name. Like is a namespace per employee the right solution to go down that route if you want to expose, potentially thousands of developers to have their own little slice?
Yeah. Porter itself doesn't have any ACLs or anything like that. Right.
Yep.
And RBAC with Kubernetes without adding extra things is, namespace is the answer, right? And doing things
that makes sense.
Potentially making a custom CRD instead of just using secrets so that you can be more fine grained about who has access.
That namespaces would make it a whole lot more simple, I think.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It does raise a thing that Porter itself has no, slicing or dicing. The only way to limit access is to make different like databases essentially and give people different views of things. But I would say that's totally not on the roadmap to implement anything like that. So but thanks for submitting the credential set CRDs and PR. It looked good.
I will say I'm
sorry
a little
I had so many
embarrassed that I
comments.
didn't go over some of the code more with I just saw the old, my technique of renaming functions to try things out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's an amateur mistake.
Oh no, That happens. Honestly, with every PR I do a code review real quick through GitHub just for myself, because
Yeah.
it's so hard to catch stuff like that otherwise for a big PR, you know?
Yeah. You're so used to looking at it at that point, and it's kind of a little bit of like, I just want some feedback on this and that, you know? And so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, everything looked right. I was just kind of knitting on like,
Yeah.
you know, how can we make it easier to maintain, right? Because it's a lot of code.
Yeah, and then same thing with the operator, or sorry, the Kubernetes plugin. Like when you change that much code, it just sometimes just becomes a blob.
Oh, yeah. It's really hard to track down if you made a temporary like debug statement somewhere. Like all that kind of stuff just gets lost in the noise. I mean, Yingrong knows what I'm talking about. They review a lot of my PRs and definitely see those things.
The nice thing is we have more folks on our team internally who are interested, and we're kind of putting this stuff out in front of them to kind of just get them more familiar with contributing to open source and comfortable with it, and catching our stuff a little early too. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. If anyone's interested in helping review PRs, I'm always looking for more people to help catch stuff, you know. Sometimes it takes a couple people to spot everything in a big one.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that anyone was interested in chatting about?
I don't have anything pressing like in the immediate future. We're going to be focusing on the parameter set next, and then the installation outputs. But I know that like we're really thinking about long term, how do we do some of the marketplace style work and make it more cohesive with Porter, and that probably is going to tie into the gRPC API. So you know, anyone who's currently thinking about that or working on that, it would be nice to sync up. You know, we may be looking at that in the next 3 months or something like that to start moving that forward.
Yeah. The gRPC API would best have a PEP that just kind of outlines what we wanted to do, you know. If you were interested in kicking that off, it's the proposals repository. The idea isn't for like a super formal thing. It's just giving people one place to kind of collaborate on what we want it to do and identifying, you know, any problems or, you know, lining us up for kind of a clean implementation without PRs where we go, oh wait, we got to rethink this. You know, it's our chance to do a little bit of design. So if you're interested in starting one of those and just getting the ball rolling, you know, we can accept the proposal, bare bones, just saying we want to do this, and then flesh out over time, you know, what do we want? What services do we want? What endpoints do we want? Things like that, functionality.
Yeah, I know there was a first pass at, I think it might have just been an issue on Porter for kind of specking out the gRPC API. I have to go find that. It had a pretty good overview of what the, I can't remember who submitted it, but what they wanted it to look like.
Yeah, I think maybe it was Muhammad who suggested it, and it was like a discussion. He had a couple like graphs and things like that of how it should look. Yeah. If you wanted to kind of take that, like I said, and just submit a PR with like that kind of outlined with some of the key motivation filled out, we can, like I said, just merge it, and other people then have a spot to collaborate on it. It's kind of hard to collaborate on a GitHub discussion, you know, but if everyone's able to, you know, make little one-line changes to a file in that repo, I think it'll be easier for us to kind of start the discussion on that service. I'm just being selfish. I want someone to get it going.
I think we can accommodate that. Yeah. I think we have folks that would be interested in moving it forward.
Hey. So. You can't be assigning me tasks in this thing. This is just a discussion.
Yes, you can.
Anyone can type in the HackMD. Whoever writes the notes writes history. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna let people go then, because it sounds like we don't have much going on. Everyone.
I have one thing I wanted to bring up.
Sure.
I think I have the right audience here, in fact, to answer this. So we're running Porter in cluster, but not the operator right now. We'll move to that eventually. But I'm trying to templatize the config, Porter config, using secrets. And I have I've installed the Kubernetes plugin, and I'm having difficulty getting that to translate. And it's not really clear to me how the link up works there. So in say the config, I have a dollar braces secret dot xyz, for example.
Yeah.
What is that XYZ? That's a key in a secret, but which secret? I mean, what's I mean.
Yeah.
I need two pieces of information there, don't I?
Let me just lay out like what we're resolving where. As you're saying this, I'm realizing that the doc doesn't really lay any of this out for you.
Right.
So let's just open up the doc for this. And configuration. Here we go.
Yeah, I've been searching and searching to try and find a good example all the way through. So
yeah, okay.
The examples
so
mentioned Azure, so
like
that works. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I can set an env.
Yeah, and in this case, this is just environment variables on the host.
Yeah.
Right.
This works. Yeah.
But you can also do secret dot. So here's an example of secret dot. Now this, we kind of do a couple passes over the config file to eventually resolve the entire thing. The first pass, what we're able to do is just load environment variables. Okay. And so this, for example, will get fully loaded on the first pass. We'll use your environment variable and we'll have a connection, in this case, to Azure Key Vault in a specific vault. And that's kind of critical to knowing what's going to resolve to what. So at this point, if we need to resolve a secret on the second pass through, if we're trying to resolve Porter DB connection string, we're going to use the default secret storage that's configured in this file, and then go to the plugin and say, like, here's the vault. This is the name of the secret key we want to resolve. What's the value that goes behind it? And we'll inject that into the URL here.
Right. That's clear to me. But what if I want to now use the Kubernetes plugin for secrets?
Yeah. Stephen,
so
Brian,
what is
you want to talk a little bit about how we resolve
those? What does that resolve? I mean,
So,
how do I? Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
There's one piece additionally in the Kubernetes plugin, and it depends on what version you're on, because we just introduced a breaking change that rolled over into, I think, 0.2. But if you're pulling in latest, it also overwrote latest. I got bit by this the other day because latest and Canary are also on this new breaking change. So it depends on what features you're looking for out of the Kubernetes plugin. But you also, the secret itself needs to have a data with a credential field.
Yep.
So there's a credential key. Credential equals the actual secret value. So the plugin goes and grabs that secret and then grabs the credential value out of that secret and assigns the
So I was
and
doing
I think we
things
did add
correctly.
that to some of the
After
doc
reading
now.
through the code, I'm actually building the plugin from source, because I kind of figured that maybe things would change. I know you guys were sort of making some changes.
So
that's right.
This was the magic part.
And this is the credential equals, right? So that's the key. The credit.
Oh, but it's value. We changed it. Did we change it to value?
It changed to value.
We have a doc.
So on the latest
so
version
instead of credential, it's called value now.
Yes, now it's called value. So that's we got to fix that doc.
Okay, that may be why, because I just couldn't get it to work. And that may be
So again, it's if you're on the latest version, or if you're building from main, then it's going to be value equals, not credential equals.
Okay. All right.
I believe it's value. Let me just triple check here.
Yeah, I should be able to check from the code. I was kind of starting to troll through the the code.
It was a last minute, like, well, not a last minute, but it was like towards the end there, I think. But it's funny that you say this because this is exactly what I ran into the first time I tried to use the Kubernetes plugin. Is digging into the code to realize, oh, I need this specific.
It's like there's an
Kubernetes
implicit key value on the secret that I thought that there's maybe another. I could do a secret dot key dot name or secret dot name of secret resource dot key or something like that, but
and that's
value,
actually
by the way.
a potential like a enhancement to the plugin where it's because right now I think it's like one Kubernetes secret per credential. We could potentially have a Kubernetes secret with
this is what I was thinking, you know, if I want to have username password, I have to then have either combine that into one secret as a, you know, combined string, or, you know, I can't have a secret with, you know, username and password key and use that, right?
Correct. Yeah. You have
not in one
not
secret.
You don't get to have, you get one secret in the Kuber, or one data key called value and that's definitely something I think it's worth looking at, like supporting as many as you want and by name, matching like the credential name or something like that.
What would that look like if you were going to say you had a credential set and the source for one of the creds is a secret you want to pull out of Kubernetes? How do you indicate, I guess, the nesting level? Would there just be additional periods and you'd be like, it's going to come from the secret name dot key?
Yeah, I was off the top of my head, I was thinking, I mean, right now you're specifying the secret name. And so then instead of looking for value, it's going to look for the name of the credential name as the key, and it can just go through, and that way you can have as many credential names as keys in the secret as necessary, so that one Kubernetes secret is kind of like it becomes like a one-to-one mapping of a Kubernetes secret and the credential set. So you have.
So 1 second, let me just make sure I got this, because I'm concerned that I'm hearing a little bit of a gap. So I want to make sure. So if I have a credential set and it says credentials here, right? And then we have the name of the credential, which is, you know, password. Okay. And then the source is a secret, right? And then we need to put something in right here that can be resolved. Well,
actually,
if we just
that could
be
be
password, right?
password,
This is the Kate's secret name. Right.
Right.
And it's gonna at the moment go to password and get the key value. What would it be if you would be able to specify the key? Would it be like
password
secret?
dot? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually that would be even more flexible at that point, you know, start supporting whatever whatever we call it, JSME path type stuff or whatever. I'm sure there's something already in there, but
this would absolutely work where like just the Kubernetes plugin could have more specific logic for figuring out what that secret means, you know? Yeah, I think that would work really well.
Yeah, because I like the idea of like I could create a single secret called my secret or secret name, and I can have all the credentials for my bundle in it.
Yeah. No, this would be
so if you left the period out,
I wanted to implement that while we were working on it, but I pulled my don't add scope handbrake.
You know what we could do is just say if no key is specified, default to value. For the key. Yeah. So that would kind of preserve what we're doing today and then just allow us to extend it and add that little extra behavior.
Do you know the name? Okay. At that point, do you know the name of the credential? I mean, maybe you could use that as the default, but if you want to keep backwards compatibility,
you actually, this is what I was trying to avoid, is that when the secret plugin is resolving this secret, it only has this information. It does not have the name of the credential. It doesn't know
the name that you're trying to set it to in the credential. That's all right. You know,
And we would run
Especially-
into things with like translation to what can actually be a name of something in Kubernetes potentially, because they have to be like DNS names, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
there be dragons.
Definitely. I'll make this a issue after this meeting on the Kate's plugin, so that if someone wants to grab this, you know.
Yeah. This definitely came up as we were working on it. But,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
Another
good. That
thing
makes me feel better that when I was trying to get this working, there was, you know, I was kind of scratching my head thinking,
Yeah.
is there something missing here?
That's the, am I crazy or is this
Yeah.
crazy? Right?
Another thing that just
And the answer
also
is
bit
always
me about the plugin is the latest version doesn't support the
Storage.
Kubernetes storage.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
gathered that
that's
because
gone.
I played around with that as well, and it quickly became apparent that that wasn't. Because I was thinking, oh,
it's just
are we gonna like store everything in like config maps? Maybe is that what we originally did?
Oh, that definitely, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
When we
with the
in
operator
Porter,
now, we have Mongo for storage in
Yeah, we're
clusters,
using
so
Mongo, and
that made it
I'm just
easier,
want to
yeah.
templatize the, you know, the connection to it.
Yeah.
So
But if you do want to try out the operator, let it, reach out, because yeah, we're actively making it work for us.
it would be a great exercise, especially trying to figure out how to get the Kubernetes plugin into the operator agent, because that's this next hurdle we have to jump over.
yeah, that poor issue, it's just sitting out there, but
I know.
It's
Well,
going to
guess
have
what?
to be solved.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a workaround in the meantime and host our own image, I think.
yeah. I feel like it's pretty critical. As soon as I get the data migration out of the way, I think I can help knock out some of these lingering pain points with the operator. Yeah. Cool. Was there anything else people wanted to chat about? I know, Steven, you have to leave like right now. So,
Oh, is it? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm in that same meeting.
okay. Well, great. Thanks everyone for coming today.
All right.
yeah,
Thank you.
We'll
thanks.
see.
Thanks
Bye.
for
See you on GitHub.
Yep. Thanks for your help, guys. Thanks.
Cheers.
Right. Bye.